Good morning and peace be with you. Happy New Year 2022. Good to see you. Uh, and look at that. It's even on the mug. Oh man, peace be with you. Are you even so like crazy for that? Like, look at the other side. Just like the mugs in the intro video. So, good morning. Good to see you. Yeah, hello, stranger. I haven't seen anybody really. It has been a wild end to 2021 and a interesting beginning to 2022. So here I am down in the studio, uh, trying to get all my strength back. For those of you that don't know, Amy and I both had COVID. We got it right after Christmas. It was quite the belated Christmas present, right through our anniversary on New Year's Eve, and this is going to be the most that I've talked to anybody uh, like in 3 weeks, except Millie Preble. I did talk to Millie. I talked to her for like 35 minutes the other day, and I had to take a nap, not because Millie wore me out, but because literally I was so tired from just talking. So that's the big thing. The lingering effect of the COVID that we had is really just a lot of fatigue right now. So we're on the backside of it. That's good. I'm getting back to work. I'm excited. And it was important for me to be with you all this morning. So good to see you. Good to see Millie and Libby and Anne, Angela, Cindy. I missed all you guys. Happy New Year. Um, Yeah, you know what? You kind of have so like these moments, like it's kind of like a be careful what you wish for kind of deal, right? Because we all want like downtime. Like I kept thinking about like where could we go just for a getaway, like just a little vacation. Where could we go and just relax and take the dog and just sit on a beach and God was like, who has time for that? How about you just lay in bed for a couple weeks and we'll just call it even and you can get all the rest you want there, which is exactly what happens. So, you know, like I say, careful what you wish for all the time. So if you just join us, good morning, peace be with you. Thanks for coming into Coffee and Conversation. My topic today is for worse, for worse. And I'll explain where that comes from. Because one of the things that when you're sick is, especially now, they had all these specials on all these different streaming channels. So I downloaded a whole bunch for like 99 cents for 3 months. And then you find these documentaries that are on there. So we've watched an enormous amount of documentaries, all right? And one of the things that I would say that I learned in all of these documentaries that we watched, and then there were some really, really interesting ones. I'll name a few, but um, things always had to get better. Things always had to get better, like in all these documentaries. There's always this arc, right? This arc in life, and so things had to get better. So they're kind of inspiring in the way that you watch them. Some of them, are just about people or events, and yeah, probably not as much. But like we watched one called Street Gang, which was about Sesame Street and about how it got started. And it was so cool to see these people that just had this passion that wanted to go and get the funding that was needed to put together curriculum and they wanted to put it on television for preschoolers who didn't have access to quality education at the time, right? Like that's like a cool idea and a big idea. And then as they're doing it, they find out that they want to partner with Jim Henson and he brings a dynamic. And, but you learn that not everything they did was easy. And they also didn't do the show to like start out and be in all the homes that they were trying to be in. They were just trying to start with local neighborhoods. And then, the result is 40 years later, and these people who continue to fight for what's right and good and most something that you and I probably remember from growing up if we watched Sesame Street at any single point in time. It was just fun to watch like all the old episodes and see uh, like just as they were working with kids and how the kids interacted with the puppets and um, but yeah, one of the things that I thought was really cool about this documentary, though, was that Big Bird, when he originally came out on the very first couple episodes, was just like this big dumb bird. He was just Big Bird, and he was kind of like ignorant and he was dumb. And the puppeteer who played him was like, no, that's not who Big Bird is. You know, Big Bird is not a dumb animal. Big Bird is a kid like the rest of them. So if Big Bird is like another 3 or 4 or 5 year old, we'll have a much better connection with the audience. And they did, they did, and so they knew a way that they could connect with young adults and older adults alike. And this was just one of a plethora of different documentaries that we watched. But I will say this, like I'm laying in bed and I'm like freaking out because it's the new year, right? So despite the 800 documentaries that I got to watch, I'm sitting in bed thinking I'm a New Year's guy. I want to hit the ground running. I needed to do all my year end goals. I needed to sit down and write out what we were going to be. I needed to finish budgets, all this stuff that I had planned. I even was in the middle of, those of you who were following along, I was in the middle of our Advent and Christmas series that this year I didn't want to pre tape ahead, but I wanted to do it weekly so that if there was any social relevance, I could include it in the topic for that week. It's a great plan until you get sick in the middle of it and can't record it. So I'm in the middle of all these things. And as I'm laying there, uh, starting to come back to life, because there's a few days where you're just like, yeah, I don't care about anything and I'm just miserable. But as I'm laying there starting to come back to life, I'm thinking, oh my gosh, I'm so far behind. It's like January 2nd. And I'm thinking, like, I blew it. The whole year's ruined. Like, here I am, way behind, and I'm not going to get accomplished anything that I want to get accomplished. Not true. And then I'm thinking about our anniversary, right? New Year's Eve. And we could barely move from one end of the room to the other. Like anytime we took like 20 steps, that was like a marathon. But there was no way we were obviously going out. We were still sick at that point. And that's when it kind of dawned on me. When we say for better or for worse, and not just in marriage, I'm talking about it in anything that we try to achieve. Talked about Sesame Street, right? Like these people were always into it for worse, not just for the better. When you're in a good relationship, you're not just in it for the better, but you really work to be in it for the worse because it's those moments of deep growth. Um, for somebody who normally likes to set goals, it's exciting at the beginning of the year because you have this open canvas. And so that would all be for better in a normal situation for me. But here I was starting off the year in a position for worse, right? That I was at the lowest aspect of my capabilities to do the work that I want to do. But yet, I still found beauty in the situation that I was in when I was willing to stop and pause. So I want to ask you this morning, just as we're sitting here talking, having our coffee, we're on January 6th, 2022. Uh, as you sit and you think about some of the things that you're experiencing, do you find beauty in the hiccup? Do you find beauty in the way that you can overcome? And maybe you don't right now, but maybe in different times when you have. What is it about the for worse part of any situation that we commit to that brings about the true meaning of passion, that brings about the true meaning of love, right? Because when things are great, when things are wonderful, uh, and you're young and you're in love and the relationship is the easiest part to think of. But when you're young and everything's great and you have everything that you want, oh, I think I lost you. No, sorry. When you're young and you're in love, little hiccup on my end, and you have everything that you want, there is something that um, makes life easy, right? Because you can do no wrong. But if we think about these vows that we take in a marriage, if they were just the extreme ends of the negative side, and we just said for worse, for poorer, in sickness, would most people still be willing to say yes? If you were going to start a business, and if people were going to say in the struggles and in the times of financial issues and in the times of complaining customers, is that what people get excited about? Or is that what people are really willing to sign up for? You wouldn't get excited about it per se, but is it really what you're willing to sign up for? Um, Livy says that, yes, I look for the beauty. Like you said, it gets better. Millie says, I don't always find beauty, but I can usually find the humor. Yeah. Um, but if you keep going, that's where you find the passion, right? So, as all of you think about everything that you love, every situation that you might be in, again, I want you to think about how much growth, how much joy, how much perseverance, and uh, how much it really gives you an understanding of how much you love something or want to do something by the way that you're willing to get through the worst parts of any of it. So, like, um, Amy says that I see it after the worst, not really during. Yeah. Well, when you're in the middle of it, yeah, it's always hard to see. But as I laid there and I thought about here's Amy and I, right? We have this retreat house now. We have Amy's recovering from surgery, and there's three of the four of us that have COVID, and we all decided, they'll tell you that Greg decided to adopt a dog the day after Christmas. So we have a brand new dog in the house. She's not fully potty trained yet. We can barely get out of bed. And we have a lot of stuff to clean. So we got like way behind really fast. And you start to panic. And I started to think about just like, oh my gosh, why did I adopt this dog? Why did I screwed everything up and I need to get up and I can't move and nobody wants to come over and help you because you have the black plague and things are piling up and you don't have the energy to do dishes and you don't even have time. You don't even have the energy to take the garbage down to the end of the street. Like just all this mess. And in the midst of the mess, I just thought to myself, like, this is just life. And I looked over at Amy and I'm like, this is what, when we take our vows, like, this is the for worse part. This is the in sickness part. And you know what? If I have to experience it, I'm pretty darn lucky to experience it with who I get to experience it with and where I'm experiencing it. Right? Like, if I really, really needed something, if we really were in dire straits, um, somebody would come help take care of us. I know at one point, Libby brought us some food, dropped it off at the front door, and then ran like like she was going to be chased. No, but even the people that we bought our house from my family to other people, but even the people that we bought our house from, were like, "What can we bring you? Do you guys need soup? Do you need like meals?" Like it was just cool, and I'm like, even though I'm starting off the year on a bad note, health wise, even though we're kind of miserable, all this beauty is being shown in the for worse part. My marriage isn't built on, all roses. It's not built on the only times that we've, just celebrated. You look back at the end of the day and you fight for it. right? And this is where for worse becomes the way in which many of us experience life. That it gives us a litmus test. It gives us an opportunity for us to grow. And so I just had a lot of time to think about that. That when you as you are watching this today, when you think about maybe that you're not where you wanted to be right now, or even your New Year's resolution has maybe drifted just a tad, that if you're still thinking about it and you're still willing to fight for it, and it still is something that is going to make a difference, then it's okay that you have the four worse moments, because then you just get back up and you ride and you push forward. There was another young lady on television yesterday. She lost 100 pounds. And they said, like, like, what was the moment, for you? It took her 5 years, to lose 100 pounds. And they were like, at what point did you decide to make this healthy change in your life? And she said, I looked at a picture and I realized that I didn't recognize the person that I saw, that I didn't like them. I saw this picture of me and I was 290 pounds. And it was at that moment that I just said, I'm cutting all my portions in half. I'm not going to eat after this time. And this is what I'm just going to do every day. I'm going to walk for 30 minutes. I'm going to drink more water. And I'm just going to eat half of the food. And she had gotten to a point where her life, where most people would say, for worse, like you feel like you've hit rock bottom and you can decide to stay there or not. Or we can take things and say, no, this is a challenge point. This is a change point. Our relationship with God is the same way. God just doesn't love us in the for better. As a matter of fact, most of our scriptures, most of everything that we learn about Christ is that he took all the people that were in a for worse position, whether it was health or life or sinfulness or just dire need of social acceptance. He took all those people that were for worse and he changed them completely. Now, it's hard to say when people don't hit rock bottom or people don't have these moments where they have to spring forth from something large, that we say, well, yeah, but it hasn't gotten that bad that I would say it's worse. It's just bad. But anything is worse. You only get two choices: for better or for worse. So is it good or is it bad? That's pretty much the aspect of it. But when we hit this for worse moment, I think that each and every one of us can look back and we can say that's exactly what allowed us to appreciate or to be converted in some way to be better than we were before. So while we have goals and while we have dreams and while we move forward in this new year, whether it's in a faith relationship, whether it's in an exercise routine, whether it's in restoring a relationship, we have to know that there are going to be moments where nothing works out as it should. When sickness comes upon you and when love is challenged. And that's when we kind of put our heels in and we're reminded of the passion that we have and how we're going to choose to move forward because we want to get back to the better. I hope that's making as much sense as I wanted it to this morning, because it just became a big thought for me. That just as I was laying there, that sometimes life is just lived in the four worse, and that's okay. And that's okay, because if you look around, you end up finding that you have what you need. And then when you come out of it, you also have a story to tell and an inspiration to share. So we'll take it, right? We'll take it as it comes. Uh, I also had time, well, not really had time, but had a chance to create a new intro. I don't know if you guys got a chance to see that. Yeah. Yeah. Like, this was big stuff for me. I was very excited to create the new intro to Coffee and Conversation that you just saw this morning. And then we have a new way that we end the show. I just read Libby's comment that she drove an hour to drop off food and run. She did drive an hour to drop off food and run, and she had to go to the store. Um, but Libby, I would not have appreciated you as much as I did unless I was in a bad situation. Um, but yeah, so we got the new intro. We'll get some new graphic overlays coming in. Um, got some new exciting stuff that we're working on in the ministry. That as back to 100%, I'm almost there. I think next week we can say that, knock on wood. But we're going to be implementing some of the new learning modules that we've been working on. We have a new Eucharist book study that's going to be coming this year. What else do we have going on? I don't know, all kinds of different stuff. We were talking about it yesterday, and now I've forgotten all the things. But Trilogy is finalizing a schedule. I think that we're doing a couples retreat for Valentine's Day, but we have to talk more about that. So stay tuned for information on that. We also, next week, we're going to have a couple mugs to give away. I'll let you know about those incentives. What else? Oh, yeah, I forgot. It's Libby Peterson's birthday. I didn't forget. Make sure that you wish Libby Peterson a very happy birthday. She turns like 21 today, which she's been with us 11, 12 years now. I don't even know, 13 years. She's basically like a third arm. So yes, wish Libby Peterson a very happy birthday on today, the Epiphany. So we're grateful for her. And I think that's what I got for you today. I think I've hit the end of my COVID brain to give you my topic today. That life is about for worse, and that's not a bad thing. Life is about overcoming the for worse moments, seeing them as building blocks, and seeing them as appreciation moments, and then thinking about. Do we really love who we say we love? Do we really have the passion to persevere in the direction that we want to persevere? And if we have a God who loves us in our worst moments, um, imagine how amazing life is when we give him all of our better moments too. All right, we got lots of birthdays up there. 21, not really. All right. So I guess we should get ready to end in prayer as we wind down today's Coffee and Conversation. So let's begin in the name of the Father, and the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Dear Lord, you often find us in a moment of despair when we search for you. Sometimes you might even see some of us, Lord, who are not calling on your name, and we are at a point where we're just struggling. You know, we know the calendar tells us that we're supposed to be ready to go, and that a new year means something new for all of us. But at the same time, Lord, you are the one that can help us see beyond all of our walls, that you can help us grow where we need to most, and that you will help us continue to move forward when we think that we can't. We don't get to just take the good stuff. We have to take all the bad stuff with it too and make it beautiful. So give us the courage, peace, and strength to do it this day and to share this message with those who need it as well. We praise you and we thank you in all things as we together. Amen. In the name of the Father, and the Son, and the Holy Spirit. So, my friends, that is where we are at today. There is amazing things ahead for you today. Uh, Thanks for helping me get back in the saddle again today. Uh, I'll get back. I'll get better at this as the year goes on. It's almost been 2 years that we've been doing this, which is crazy. But yeah, so we're excited to share more with you. Join us. I don't know. Do we have Dawn tomorrow? I don't have any comments. Let me see up here real quick. I got this fancy pointer thing. Dawn may or may not be with us. Tune in 7:30 tomorrow. You'll be shocked and amazed at what you see. So, 2 years, March 16th. Yep. All right, friends. Well, enjoy the day. Go out there and get them and know that God is with you in all things. God bless you. Be well.